Hey guys, it's me, Ron Williams, Natural Mr. World, Natural Mr. Universe, Natural Mr. Olympia, also inducted into the Natural Bodybuilders Hall of Fame. I was awarded the Natural Bodybuilder of the Decade. Not long ago, I put out a video. It was about 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, 50 seconds, and we talked about carbohydrates and how they're used in the body and how they lean the body, and if you want a six-pack, how to get a six-pack. One big concept that I want you to get across to you, and that's this: all carbohydrates are not treated equal in the body. All calories are not equal when it comes to the body. Our body digests and absorbs different types of macronutrients differently. I'm gonna go to my favorite store here in Utah. It's a beautiful day today, but I'm gonna go to my favorite store and we're just gonna go through some of the carbohydrates. Okay guys, most of the time when you talk about carbs, most people think you're talking about this, bread type items, or let me show you another aisle where they think you're talking about carbs. Okay, I just want you to look to my left. This is what we think, well, many of us anyway, think that carbs are. The potato chips, the corn chips, all of these, we look at these as carbohydrates. These are refined carbohydrates, may not be the best for you. Now we get into the real carbs. Look to my left. Oh my goodness. How many of us love this kind of thing? I've been away from it so long, it doesn't even really, it doesn't even spark my taste buds at all. Did you know fruit are simple carbs? This is one of my favorite foods in all the world. Love grapes. Need my potassium, so get my bananas. It has to have a certain sound to it. Okay, I'm gonna get my potatoes. Now I love potatoes. Again, they go in the stews that I make, and sometimes I make French fries. Yes, I make French fries. But what I do with my French fries, I bake them in the oven, put a little water on the bottom of the pan, and let the water cook out, and then allow that to cook the potato. And once the water cooks out, I allow it to crisp a little bit. So that's how I eat French fries, and you can call them potato chips. Some people will call them potato chips, but that's a starchy carb. So let's continue. And for today, that's probably all I'm gonna get with the starchy carbs right now. So I'm gonna move towards my more fibrous type carbs. I love kale greens, I love spinach. We have a special guest for you guys today, and it's lovely Kayla, who is not just an ordinary girl. There's something really, really special about her. We have something in common. We love diet and nutrition.
I'm a registered dietitian, and I work for Harmon's, the grocery store. And
by the way, this is one of the most loveliest stores that I've ever been in. And
Thank you.
It's just so awesome that I live right down the street and get the opportunity to shop here all the time.
It really is a nice place to be.
And by the way, I'm not getting paid for this. No. I am not getting paid for this, guys. I just love this store. And maybe if Harmon if they see it, they might just start paying me for it. I don't know. But as of now, I'm not getting paid for it.
I don't have that kind of power, but I'll put in a good word. But yeah, so I'm a registered dietitian. So registered dietitians have to go to school for at least 4 years in college and go through an accredited program and get training on metabolism, anatomy and physiology, organic chemistry, biochemistry. We take a lot of hard science classes, and we know about how food affects the body and how to also use food to help increase your health.
We came into the store and didn't even have an inclination that we would even be talking to her. and we got an opportunity to meet her, and she is so delightful. I know you guys, maybe in the future we'll do some more videos together. But tell us about the carbs we have here. What you think about the carbs we have?
So these are all sources of carbohydrates. And we wouldn't always think about vegetables having carbs, but they do. Carbohydrates are linkages of sugars. Most people don't realize that carbs are linkages of sugars. They're just linked in different ways. So you find them naturally occurring in fruits, vegetables, grains, and then also dairy foods can have carbohydrates as well. You're not gonna find a ton of carbohydrates in vegetables, but they are there. You also find fiber in all of these items. So while they are linkages of sugars, carbohydrates are fiber, helps to slow down the rise in blood sugar that comes from consuming carbohydrates.
Let me ask you this. I always say that all calories are not equal. And then I go a little bit further. I say all carbohydrates are not equal.
Oh yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Totally.
Why would you say that?
So calories do matter for weight management. You know, if you're eating too much food, that is going to spell trouble for your waistline. But the quality matters just as much as the quantity. And for carbohydrates specifically, choosing better sources is going to give you more nutrition, it's going to help balance your blood sugar, and it's going to help reduce your risk for a lot of those diseases like type 2 diabetes.
Tell me this. When you say balance your blood sugar, what happens when you eat a lot of simple carbohydrates?
Those spike your blood sugar. They don't have any fiber to help slow down the rise in blood sugar. They don't contain a lot of nutrients. It's mostly empty calories. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna eat that food and then your blood sugar is gonna spike up. And then because your blood sugar has spiked, your body's gonna release insulin, which is going to help get that sugar into your cells, and then you're gonna have a crash. And then, so an hour or two later, you're starving again, and then you're tired and hungry. So what you wanna do instead of that, to avoid that blood sugar crash, you wanna be consuming healthy, complex sources of carbohydrates that have fiber, that have beneficial nutrients, vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that are gonna, instead of doing a spike, you're gonna have more of a gradual increase, and you're gonna have them level off, your blood sugar levels. You're not gonna have a crash.
Tell me this, what happens to what happens when you become insulin resistant and you eat these carbs? What happens to the body?
Your blood sugar basically goes up and it stays up. That's the problem. And so this can happen over a long period of time of consuming too many of these refined carbohydrates. Maybe if somebody has some weight to lose, especially around their midsection, we tend to see that insulin resistance, and that's a risk factor or a predisposing factor for type 2 diabetes.
Does that mean when you're insulin resistant, does that mean your pancreas doesn't expel any insulin?
No, in fact, it means it's expelling it, and your cells aren't actually registering that insulin being there. It's not as effective. So that's the start of type 2 diabetes.
It's almost like if you work in a plant that has a whole lot of noise in it. This noise, it bothers you, so you have to have these earphones or earplugs in so you can't hear it.
Yep.
But after you're there for 2 or 3 years, you don't need the earplugs anymore.
You don't need it because you get used to it, and that's what happens to your body with insulin. It keeps having to produce more and more to get the same effect. And so that's why people end up needing drugs or medications to help their body recognize insulin again so that they can start processing carbohydrates effectively.
Now the big question. Will excessive insulin cause you to put on extra body fat?
That is the operative question. That's it right there. And research shows that when you are having these blood sugar spikes and dips, you're more likely to be putting on weight in your midsection. That is accurate. Often we don't get full very well on those types of carbs that happen. So you're gonna be more likely to eat more calories over the day.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Is it possible that the fat cells themselves release estrogen?
Oh, certainly. In fact, that's why people who have greater
Isn't she awesome? Come on, talk to us, girl.
So people who are overweight or have excess weight, they are at higher risk of cancer, especially female cancers, because of their estrogen-like effects. So yes, that is absolutely true that fat cells are they secrete their own hormones, and they do have that estrogenic effect, yes.
And once a body gets overweight and obese, it desires to maintain that fat and actually put on more fat because you've got this estrogen being secreted.
Yep.
So we've got to get this thing called insulin under control.
Yes. Definitely, and a way to do that is by choosing better carbs and then having a good balance of those in your total diet. Because just choosing the right carbs isn't going to do you a lot of good if you're only eating carbs, or if you're not balancing that out with protein and fat.
Let me ask you this. Tell me about essential fatty acids.
Omega-3s and omega-6s are fats that your body can't produce on its own. You need to get them from food, and you need them for things like your skin integrity, for your brain, for your eyes, for your heart. There's lots of different reasons to eat those, and you need to get them from unprocessed foods.
That's why they're called essential fatty acids, because your body does not produce them. I've got a trick question for you.
Uh-oh.
Trick question. How long does it take to digest and absorb a protein?
It depends on the person, and it probably depends on the type of protein. So yeah, that is a tricky question, and it's hard to say. But protein sticks around in your stomach longer than carbohydrates do.
Absolutely. So that's one way we keep our blood glucose level down, is when we add a protein to a carbohydrate, it lowers that carbohydrate on the glycemic scale. And then you add an essential fatty acid to that, and it lowers it even more, so that the insulin level doesn't rise so much, so you don't have that spike in the blood glucose, so the pancreas doesn't have to secrete so much insulin. It takes a longer time in the system so that it keeps it a little bit lower. Instead of getting those mountains and valleys, we just get those hills like that. Is there anything else you would like to tell us before we end this video?
Well, eating good, healthy sources of carbohydrates is important. Balancing those out with protein and fat is also important. And registered dietitians in the grocery store can help you find items that will help you keep your blood sugar levels more balanced.
Which grocery store?
Well, here in Utah, it would be Hartman's. So we have 6 dietitians.
I'm not getting paid for this, guys.
No, and so we have 6 dietitians. We can make it really easy. Help you find healthy things that taste good too. No deconstructed sandwiches. No, none of that.
I want to say this, Kayla, thank you very much. And I want you guys to comment on how much you like this video because of Kayla being on this video. And I'm going to come back to her and tell her and give her the responses that you guys gave us for this particular video. God bless you. Until next time, make sure you subscribe, get your friends involved, and remember, I love you, and this channel is for you guys. Till next time.